I I have no creativity.
Did you name yourself Chris?
No, I named him Butt Farts, as I usually do these days in JRPGs.
Butt farts, nice. I forgot what name I had to go with in Undertale.
Yeah.
McFart. There you go.
See, Goggin and I highbrow humor every single day.
Because I couldn't go with Buttface because it wouldn't allow that many characters.
What?
And I wasn't going to waste McDucky swag on something that looked that unimpressive visually. Episode 75 of the Endless Backlog Podcast, your number one amateur hour podcast, as told by me, Gagneep Singh. Hope all is well where you are. Joining me today is Christopher Compton.
What's up, everybody? We made it past Game of the Year.
I know! This time our Tell the Lie segment wasn't a Tell the Lie segment.
We already told that lie.
Yeah, whatever. William Berger!
Yo, the website still operates. Like a couple years of Game of the Year and contentious yelling at each other, and we're still here.
Yeah, we made it through a Game of the Gen argument.
Yeah, we can never do Gen 6. It'll get too...
that would be too hard.
Lives would be lost.
Yeah, or it would really come down to, like, so now we need to play all these Gen 6 games and not worry about what's coming out right now. Chris, back to Sands of Time, buddy.
Yeah, here we go.
Gotta replay Knights of the Old Republic.
As if my backlog isn't extensive enough as it is.
Right? Like 162 games. I actually looked at my backlog right before we started, and I was like,
Sweet God.
And rounding us out is Kira Sutherland.
Heyo.
Are you happy that Kiefer won Best Voice Acting Performance for this one, given that he's family?
He does the family proud. I'm so happy.
Speaking of doing the family proud, we talked about this during the podcast. William came through in the clutch and got Rise of the Tomb Raider into the top 10.
I love you, Will.
Yeah.
I
Their
did all right.
relationship depended on it.
Yeah,
For you not knowing at home, there was a lot riding on that.
I was going to say,
was.
out of the last 2 years, are Rise of the Tomb Raider and Until Dawn the only 2 games that have legitimately made it with one man carrying the game?
Awesome.
I think of another example. Wonderful 101 it was a platinum game, so it had platinum people on it. Dota 2 had Eljosa and Ben on that podcast. And then last year, all those games, all of us played it, and multiple people played it.
It's because 2015 just had so many offerings for so many different people, and they were all good.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
The crazy thing were some of the honorable mentions were really good games. When you go look at Metacritic and just go watch footage of some of the Kerbal Space Program was in our honorable mention. That's a cool fucking game.
There's Clutch, and then there's 2015.
Yeah. It's
You had to cut some pretty crazy games that in a lesser year would have made it no problem.
Yeah. So
I feel like the if we were in 2014, our 2014 list had half of those games come out the years that they were supposed to, would be just completely different.
Yeah, seriously.
Bayonetta 2 versus Witcher 3 would have been a fun argument.
Oh, God.
Metal Gear Solid 5 versus everything in 2014 would have been a fun argument.
That's the only way it would have won Game of the Year.
Nah.
Yeah. What, Bayonetta 2 would have definitely been fine, I think.
No,
I would have loved to hear the arguments against Bayonetta 2. That would have been fun to me.
I think it would have come down to it's more Bayonetta, but I would have actually had to play the game. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, I'm not taking that L to Witcher. I'm like, no way! Is a game that does this better than The Witcher is losing. It's like hitting things with the sword in The Witcher. No! I don't know.
That's true. Just a reminder
addendums, just to add on. We did let that podcast drag. So I wanted to, the initial thing I want to open this podcast is, why we go with that format. So I want to just clear the air on that, I guess. One, I really like the Giant Bomb format of it. Because I love listening to them talk about it, and I think that our group, because we do less bullshitty things like go to Wikipedia than they do sometimes, and I like that at least one of them, if I'm not like whenever we got to a point where one of my games were invested and I could no longer be the impartial viewer during the podcast, like we had a Chris who would just sit there and be like, so I have no investment in any of these games. It affects my happiness not one way, but here's why I'm siding with these games for the arguments, right? Like it felt like a fair way to decide it, right?
Makes sense.
Right.
Yep.
Like we didn't completely say Chris is going to pick our top 10, but we did say, all right, let's look at the most impartial view and let's let's reassess what's been said real quick, right?
It's true.
And that makes it easier. I also think that it's fun to finally like talk about some of these games in like more detailed ways, right? Because when it's just flowery praise or when it's just reductionist criticism, it gets tiring. Like we got to get a little bit of everything. We get to learn new things about certain games. Like I didn't think about the whole traffic stuff and how that worked in City Skylines, for instance. Like, that was interesting. There was a different perspective on Until Dawn when Phil brought it up. Like it's like the Rise of the Tomb Raider argument. Like again, it was a good argument, but like with that game, we have so much context for what a game like that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with some of these other games, they were so like out of our own personal wheelhouses. You would learn something a little bit different. Like I enjoyed being able to be there with Ben and explain what separates Zachtronics puzzle games from every other puzzle game on the market, right? Like just dismissing them as puzzle games is wildly unfair, considering what they do that no other puzzle game does, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that part I really like. We have learned that if we don't make personal top 10s in advance, we do end up with filler lists. We do get heated really quick, because I was getting heated at the Rainbow Six discussion. I was like, get the fuck out with this pricing argument. It's not a free-to-play game, like, in any way. Like, Ubisoft for once isn't shady. Like now we're just punishing them for being Ubisoft, which is unfair. And then like Wazi, I felt like did get a little over dramatic on Destiny at first, but I understood why it happened. Right? Like we all sort of just spoke at once, which that's a failure on me. I'm hosting it. I should keep you people in check. But I think we were all just so energized at the very beginning of that podcast. Like you listen to the beginning of that podcast, we're like upbeat. It's like just one joke after another.
And then we went for the throat.
Yeah, and then it got ruthless.
And the knives came out.
I will say this: Brian's play with the essay, while impressive, I felt like sucked my entire energy. Because I was just like, oh my god, we are ending this call so to save so I can just have a moment to walk around for a second.
I forgot that happened.
Full Obama right there.
Oh my god, yeah. I regret that the ending of that podcast, when the important stuff didn't go...
It's a little rushed.
Felt a little rushed at the end, but,
We were
at that
5.5 hours in.
Yeah, but I felt like everyone was, like, just on really... I felt like the quality of the arguments were dropping because we were fucking tired.
I think there was a point where I literally just typed "please" over and over again in capital letters
like,
into the Skyjack.
On, yeah.
I was in the other room and I was like, is Will even here?
Yeah. The other thing is, what else? So if people are gonna say, oh, how come Bloodborne only ended up 4? I was simple about this going in. I was like, because we joked about that we're gonna get Bloodborne Game of the Year because neither of us are gonna agree on Metal Gear or Witcher. And I felt like that was a bullshit win for Game of the Year because it's not even that any of us are passionate about it. It's that we're being vindictive now against the game that we don't want to win.
If your game's not going to get it, neither is mine.
Yeah, because I'm like, if Metal Gear and Witcher is the argument, let Metal Gear and Witcher be the argument. With Rocket League being the other one that was there, right? Like, I was fine with the vindictive part of dropping Metal Gear to third because I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. The stuff Konami ruined about Metal Gear is pretty offensive. Like, it is. Like, we've badmouthed so many microtransaction things. The fact that Metal Gear is even in our top 3 is almost, like, blasphemous on our end, but...
It's testament to how good that game is.
Yeah, it's also a testament to how good that game is, but whatever. I'm happy with The Witcher 3 winning. I didn't think it was a bad pick for Game of the Year going in. I didn't think it was Game of the Year, but it's not the first time.
It was a long time coming.
Yeah. I
mean, you're wrong, Chris, and we're going to have to live with that as a website for the rest of
Not
the
on our website. I'm not. Feels good.
Yeah, but, I also like... The other reason I like that format is because now you know how fucking arbitrary the lists are and how fucking hard it is to have any level of consistency when you have multiple personalities, right, with very different tastes. Like, when it's one person doing a list, there's a consistency to it. It's that one person's taste. You get a through line there, right?
Right.
When you got 7 people with 7 different opinions, like, for instance, all of you are crazy for thinking Rayman 2 is a better game than Ape Escape. But we would have
wrong.
that... yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's not get into that.
Who said that?
What?
Rayman is better than Ape Escape.
Rayman 2 is better than Ape Escape?
Everybody.
Chris, Ben...
Ape Escape's
You guys
not
are
even a real
wrong.
game.
Why would you blaspheme?
Yeah.
It's not even a real game.
You're wrong.
Ape Escape is fantastic. Fuck you, Chris. Anyway.
So good.
Anyway, this is not our first episode of 2016, but like now that officially the 2015 stuff is buried, we're moving on. We're moving forward.
We're gonna be big boys and girls.
Yeah.
Put aside our differences, Chris. I
aside our
forgive you for being wrong.
Yeah. We get to be
Apology
excited-
not accepted.
We get to be excited at new games, even though Scalebound's already been delayed, and Lord knows something else will be delayed, like Zelda.
I'm just waiting for the Last Guardian announcement.
Yeah. I mean,
If they fucking delay Persona 5 again,
yeah. So I was actually going to start off. Is this the year we see Nintendo NX? Because all signs seems to be pointing that it's absolutely the year. Let's
yes.
start with Nintendo.
I think we'll see it. I don't think it's coming out this year, though.
Yeah, no, it's not coming out this year. They're not going to announce it and release it in the same year.
I mean, you say maybe. I would think we're at that point where that stuff does happen now.
Okay,
The
just because
PlayStation
Fallout
4 and
did it.
Xbox One happened exactly that way.
Did they?
Yeah, literally, they were announced.
Was it they announced it in February and released? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
announced
true.
in February, released in that November.
Oh my god.
The Xbox. Let me put it this way: the Xbox One was such a shit show of like PR mess. It felt like it was a year for that thing.
Yeah.
But all of that. Think about that. All that.
That's not a
bullshit-
strategy you should adapt, though.
Yeah.
I
that,
mean,
well, no, it worked for PlayStation though. Like I think we're way past the era of, oh, you're gonna use a year of hyping this thing up. It's like, yeah, but and the other thing is, I don't think Nintendo has a market that'll be friendly to them for them to wait one more year, because there's a lot of theory going around that even this generation of the PS4 and Xbox One isn't going to be as long as the previous generation.
I
Which
don't.
would be ridiculous.
I think that's wrong.
I agree. I don't see why. Like, for instance, it hasn't been that good of a generation to warrant not being that long at this point. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
like if it was
nobody-
guns blazing, fine. Like whatever, encore.
I mean, at least they have to recoup the costs of what it would
Yeah.
of what it would cost to make a new console and
I mean,
make all
that's-
those developments. There's no reason to.
Well,
there's
argument,
absolutely no fucking reason
well, the
for it to be
argument there
short.
is that the Xbox One and PS4 sell at a profit, unlike any other console at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And it's not like sales are stagnating.
yeah,
Yeah.
the PS4 is killing it.
Yeah, so I don't.
Yeah,
there's
but
no
all the more reason. If you're a studio, it doesn't make sense to invest a resources pipeline to develop for these consoles and then abandon it.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. I also don't. I always say that I want Nintendo to have a powerful machine that gets third party, but I'm also at that point as a PC gamer where I'm like,
Don't
I guess
care.
it doesn't affect me
Yeah.
because it's still because the PlayStation and Xbox have effectively become what the Nintendo console is to me. I only play it for the exclusives, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And we're now in the era where exclusives means first party, and I stand by this every day. There's no world where I don't think Nintendo's first party isn't the best.
Nintendo's first party is so fucking good.
Yeah, like the
Can we
only
just
thing,
say that for the record again?
Yeah, like for the record, I think Nintendo's a treasure, and they have the most talented group of people, you know, under one umbrella. My only beef with them, my largest beef with them, is that they can be creatively bankrupt, which is unfortunate. I want them to be Disney, and they're not really Disney. What I mean by that is, people ignore the part that Disney is also business savvy. Mm-hmm. They invested in Marvel and picked up Star Wars to speak to an audience that their stuff doesn't necessarily speak to. Disney does work on the nostalgia game a lot. I mean, the whole Disney Vault thing is basically that. Like, we're re-releasing Lion King. Make a shit ton of money, right? Like, that's one thing. But they understand that kids of a new generation don't want the Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. They want their own movie. Kids are
True.
always that way. You cannot...
Yeah.
You try to give them your stuff, and they're like, I don't want your stuff. I don't know what it is, but it's always been that way, right? Nintendo has a bad like, I'm not saying Mario is bad. I am saying that kids don't respond to Mario the way my generation responded to Mario.
Well, they're also, I mean, they are doing Bayonetta, or, supporting that, doing Xenoblade, so I think maybe they're starting to branch out into different markets, so I mean, there is that, but you're right, they haven't made, like, a new Mario-esque...
Splatoon was a step forward, though. Like, when you think of Splatoon and how well that game did, it spoke volumes of, like, imagine if Splatoon was on a system that sold as well as the Wii, that game would have done the monster numbers, because it's done impressive numbers on the fucking Wii U, and we all think the Wii U is a failure commercially. I mean, it is a failure commercially.
Yeah, but I still like their games the best.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, we put 2 of their games in our top 10. I mean, both of them.
The only developer, or I think publisher, to have 2 in the top 10 was Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, the constant so far has been Nintendo as a publisher keeps showing up in one way or another. Link Between Worlds and Wonderful 101. In theory, Bayonetta 2 is half Nintendo, half Sega. Mostly Nintendo, though. Like, Sega's part was, we own the IP, but we don't want to fund it. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I hope the NX is good. I like the idea of it being this handheld console thing, simply for the following reason. For once, all of Nintendo's games will be on one device.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like, that helps to me. Because I think a lot of people get to the point where, like, I'm going to pick either between their handheld and their console.
Or the actual console, yeah.
And what ends up happening for a larger group of people, and I don't blame them for this, is that the handheld gets more games. Like, by virtue of the fact that it gets more games, I'm going to take my chances with the handheld. I think their console games tend to be better than their own personal handheld games. Like, I like the DS more because of the third part. I think Nintendo's offerings on the DS aren't that good. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I've never been, like...
It's no GBA, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but I also would argue the DS is, like, trounces the GBA in terms of just the sheer variety of games that system got.
Maybe, I'm just saying...
Would they announce the NX at a Direct, though?
No.
Because, like, not enough people watch... Like, people watch those, but not enough people watch those.
I don't think they would, just on the basis of, like, they need the media exposure for it.
Yeah. So what are they going to announce at E3?
That would be my guess.
And then it comes out, like, 3 or 4 months later?
That would be my guess. Because that way, like, E3 gives it promotion whether or not they make a big deal out of, like, having it at E3.
Well, I would assume it would have to happen before E3, because it's
that's what I'm saying.
What Sony and Microsoft did.
It's a weird gray area of either they announce it at a Direct or something outside of E3 so that they have the time to build the hype throughout the year.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Direct stuff actually does better for them than most people think it does. And I think it's no different than what Sony and Microsoft did, which is they announced it basically online. And Ben will be joining us, Ben Minkoff. I'm going to add him.
But with the thing with Sony and Microsoft is you could watch those announcements on your console. Do you think that the
Wii... that I agree with is a problem, and I believe Spike showed one of them on TV. I might be wrong about that one. So you are
they
correct.
Usually do. They usually
but
do.
Here's the thing. I think Nintendo is a big enough name in the industry that, like, a Jeff Keighley or whoever is working with Spike nowadays is going to say, yeah, we'll get behind. Like, we have to show it's Nintendo. Like, you can't just dismiss them.
Yeah, I would just be interested to see the method they choose.
I mean,
like, I'm sure it'd be live on YouTube, Twitch, and all that stuff.
Yeah. But at the same time, I ask, like, isn't that basically speaking to the gaming audience at that point? Like, if E3 isn't... I think the announcement... Sony's blueprint to me is the best, is that the announcement needs to speak to the core audience, even though it was a bit of a whimper. I think when you look... I think people remember that the PS4 announcement was a positive, but really it was more lukewarm. It's that the Xbox One sucked so much during its announcement.
That's what I remember.
that the PS4 comes out looking better at its announcement.
That's what I remember.
Literally, their biggest applause line from that announcement was, "Look at what we're not doing."
Yeah, exactly. There was like a 1.5-minute string.
Yeah.
Where they just said, we're not doing these 3 things, and everyone lost their minds.
So it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, but that's not...
Yeah. So Ben Minkoff is here.
Yep.
Ben is here.
Hey.
And...
Sorry I'm late.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So Ben, we're talking about the Nintendo and the NX and if it'll happen in 2016.
It's seeming more likely. We're just getting more buzz about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've mentioned in the past that I'd be surprised, but I guess it's possible. I mean,
now that we're seeing patents, that tells me that they're ramping up for full scale. Like we're going to do this thing.
That's why I'm pretty sure we're not going to see another PlayStation or Xbox for a while because we've heard nothing on that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will say this though.
I doubt they're in any rush.
I think Nintendo needs more of a cultural shift though under their umbrella. Like I don't want them to not be the game developer that they are. Like I love the way they do games.
Right.
Gameplay first, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Right. But they need new IP. It's just they need new stars at this point. Mario to me has peaked in terms of commercial impact. Not necessarily that his games won't sell, but there's a difference between Super Mario Bros. 3 and Mario World moving boxes and Super Mario Galaxy doing amazing sales numbers because the Wii already sold a lot, right? It's effectively what's happened to Halo now. For the longest time in our lifetime, Halo was a box mover. Now, Halo is just a big IP, right?
Well, I mean, I think you can kind of see how that happened with New Super Mario Bros. Wii and New Super Mario Bros. Wii U.
Yeah.
Like, New Super Mario Bros. Wii sold like 25 million copies.
Yeah.
And New Super Mario Bros. Wii U launched with the system, and I mean, we know what happened to the Wii.
Yeah. And Mario Kart 8 isn't doing 30 million copies.
I mean, what moved Wii U consoles was Wii Sports.
Yeah. What moved the Wii was Wii Sports, correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like they had a novelty they could sell. They effectively had their new IP, their new star, if you will, their new draw, right? Mm-hmm. That's what they need. I think they can't just make games that aren't... I don't need them to become narrative heavy, but just because it worked for Mario doesn't mean people don't care about some level of context in their other games. Because people give enough of a shit about the context in Zelda. Me and Chris like the characters of Fire Emblem, right?
I do too.
I mean, like, I can't really imagine like, if Nintendo competes in that realm, I'm not sure I could really imagine a game that would win them the kind of audience they had 2 generations ago.
Yeah, but I don't think they need to go balls to the walls trying to get the Wii audience, because I don't think anyone is appealing to that audience on the console side. I think effectively that audience has gone to mobile tablets. Like, it is what it is.
Then you look at what Nintendo's been like the partnerships they've created on mobile and the idea of NX being kind of this hybrid device.
I think they need a Skylanders type deal.
Another way.
I think they need a Skylander. I think, first of all, they need to bring more kids over to their system. I know that sounds blasphemous for some people. Like, oh, gaming, you're supposed to tell us how Nintendo's not... No, it's like, listen. First of all, kids deserve good games, and I feel like it's stupid for all of us to forget that back when we were kids, games targeted at us used to be rad. Whereas nowadays, I look at games that are targeted at kids, and I go, it's a lot of shitty games. You know what I mean? Like, our generation was built on Mario, Metroid, Castlevania, Mega Man,
Zelda.
Yeah. And then kids these days are like, okay, Skylanders is a cool game, but, you know, at the same time, and then, like, Minecraft is cool, but then, like,
they have a lot of Lego stuff.
Yeah, the rest of mobile market is that knockoff Pokemon game that Phil put in our top 10 randomly.
Pocket Marty's?
Yeah, Pocket Marty's. Like, the fuck is that?
Isn't that an Adult Swim show, though?
It is.
Yeah. Oh, well, then whatever. The point, you get what I'm saying, though. It's a lot of bad cell phone games. In my opinion.
So, a lot of cell phone games.
It's because we were the original gamers and games growing up with us. Fuck the kids.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, if I look
As
back
a
and, like,
teacher,
I spent a lot of time as a kid playing, like, backyard baseball and those games on the PC. And those games, like, they worked, but they were easy as shit. I kind of love that they
played
were
a lot of
shitty
games.
I mean, yeah, that's why I'm.
I would have loved those Lego games if those were out when I was 6 years old.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying. Hey, listen, I'm not dissing the Lego games. I'm saying
the Lego games are magnificent, Ben.
I'm saying that the kids' games had more variety in our era. Like, they had more options in our era. Battletoads,
they really did.
Yeah, Battletoads.
I think it was just a different mindset.
Time period. Yeah, that's fine. All I'm saying is, though, and when you keep showing me statistics that the average gamer is 37, I go, that's because we're not. My reaction to that is we're not getting new blood into the industry. Like, we're not adding to the market.
The industry
when I say
itself,
that, like, the mindset has changed, Goggin, like, when we were kids, like, the majority of almost every game was made for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Now the case is like almost every good game that comes out in a year is rated M, and it's really, mature in air quotes.
Yeah. But listen, all I'm saying is I don't mind if Nintendo continues. At the same time, well, basically,
Nintendo's going to keep doing that. Like that's what they culturally are, and they can't really leave that behind.
At the same time, I think they need to allow the retro studios of the world, the monoliths, and maybe they need to make another Western studio that just at least appeals to, maybe our demographic. Because I like to think it doesn't have an impact on me that, oh my god, it's a more kid-friendly game. Like, of course, I still think they're fantastic when they're playing well, but at the same time, I do gravitate towards stuff that is meant for my audience, right? It's very much like Pixar. Like, Pixar movies are fantastic. That doesn't necessarily mean we're super excited for Pixar stuff the way we get excited for, the next Scorsese film, necessarily, right? Like, I'm going to be excited when he tells me he's doing another mob flick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think Nintendo has to keep being surprising.
Nintendo will do what Nintendo does.
They're gonna do best if they stay disruptive. And I think some of their more recent forays into online stuff, like its progress, slow as it is, but
I mean, to be fair,
from there.
Nintendo went from like the early '90s to like the early 2000s in the span of 2 years, so it's not bad.
We're like almost at original Xbox Live.
That backhand compliment.
We're getting there. So,
I think the Dina stuff, if they're doing it right, which is get the fuck out of Dina's way, is a savvy move by Nintendo. It's like, all right, we're bad at this. Let's get someone good at this and let them take over on that end.
Right? Yeah, at least lay the groundwork. That might give us good advice.
Other wish fulfillment. Let's take the Virtual Console to the era, to the thing that it should have been the whole time. It's like, stop doing these. Yes, not even the subscription. Forget the subscription. Like, let me buy those games individually. I'm saying, like, stop doing this, like, sporadic release bullshit and just put them up there. Like, I want all four of the major Mario Brothers games that came out on the consoles. I want Yoshi's Island there. I want Link to the Past and that stuff there. Right?
Like, the fact that we're getting Nintendo 64 games should not be a big deal. It should be what happens.
Yeah, like, if anything, we should be at the point where they're moving GameCube games onto that
Are you going to buy them all again?
Do I want to buy some of them again? Yes. Am I going to buy all of them again? I don't know about all of them, Ben. But listen, if they need to come up with a subscription model, they need to figure out a way to make this all work. Like, if they need to hold that L and just say, listen, the Wii Virtual Console stuff, we fucked up, but here's the new Virtual Console, here's our new storefront. This will be the new Nintendo store for the rest of your life, or until whatever. The next
if they can get set up an actual account system, that would go such a long way for the Virtual Console, I think.
Yeah. Like, that stuff needs to happen, and
or it's like this can follow you forever.
Well, now that they have an account system, they should just integrate it into the way that Virtual Console works.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time they had basic friends list. They had basic friends list. No more friend codes. Come on, grow up. And more importantly, since at the end of the day, it all comes down to the games, are we all in agreement that the new Zelda is probably going to be an NX launch title?
I really don't want that to be true.
I don't want it to happen because I'm going to feel so betrayed.
They're going to do it again.
Yeah, they're going to do it again. I know everybody's going, I don't want it to happen, but it's the thing that makes the most sense to me, business-wise.
They're going to pull
if it comes out this year, it's probably going to happen in some way. Yeah. Even if it's like simultaneous kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like with Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
But it'd make me a little sad.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Just like, why does this have to keep happening?
Is the Wii U the best bad console?
It's up there with the Dreamcast.
Nah, I think the Dreamcast is a better machine than the Wii U.
There's a lot of things
Maybe?
Wii U has a lot of great games.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
That's some really good games.
I mean, it probably is honestly the best bad console. I still think it's the best individual console.
It's like the best console to own for your money if you're PC gaming, I argue, because what the fuck else are you really playing on the PS4 that you can't play on your PC?
Bloodborne, man.
Bloodborne, but Bloodborne is one game in a sea of a lot of mediocre shit like Killzone Shadowfall, Infamous Second Son. Yeah, fuck that. The Order was not a good game.
Ooh, don't talk about Infamous.
Whereas the Wii U has a 2014 Game of the Year.
As our 2014 Game of the Year, it has Wonderful 101. It has Mario 3D World, which is good. Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. Super Mario Maker, Splatoon.
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. We weren't that far away from having 3 Nintendo games in our top 10. If you yeah.
I completely forgot about Yoshi's Woolly World, and it made me really sad when I realized it.
Yeah, it was too late, though. Whatever.
I was like, no.
And it was too late.
Yeah, it was too late. It is. We were not going to add that in at that point. We're like, no, fuck that. The fact that you forgot is the argument we're going to make.
Yeah. So true.
It's so adorable that I can't imagine life without it.
It's a lovely game, and everyone should try it.
I want to say I probably will be a day one guy for Nintendo. I can't seem to escape the Nintendo console in some way.
Showing your age, Goggin.
Because the Wii U I was definitely not going to buy until the Platinum stuff happened. Like, I was definitely never going to buy it, right?
Definitely.
I think it's way too early to say. Yeah. I mean, we don't know anything about the system now.
Yeah, that's true. But
I just believe in Nintendo is going to put out consistently excellent software because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Moving on.
That's our predictions for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo going to do Nintendo things.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I mean, some of us will laugh at whatever Nintendo does, and others will be like, wow, that's actually a ballsy idea. And if it's like the Wii, what they really want us to go is, that is a stupid fucking idea. Because chances are it'll make a shit ton of money.
Yes,
it seems to be how it works. Although we all thought the Wii U was a stupid looking idea, but whatever. Anyway, moving on to the other big platform holders, Microsoft. I thought had a mostly good outing in 2015, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chris and I like Halo 5's multiplayer a lot. Rise of Tomb Raider, it being exclusive might have bothered some of our staff people because we would rather play it on the PC. I would rather play it on the PC.
Unfortunately, they made a good game.
Yeah, unfortunately, they made a really good game there. Gears of War 1 getting remade was pretty good. Being able to play that game online again, those maps was awesome. Ori and the Blind Forest, if I would argue, continues this weird trend where just because Microsoft seems to be really douchey with indie devs, you should never discredit the fact that Microsoft has a better eye for this shit than Sony does. Because they seem to always pick out
winners,
in my opinion. Like, they were the ones that invested in Mark of the Ninja. They were the ones that built Summer of Arcade around Geo Wars 2 and Braid. The following year went with Limbo and Shadow Complex, right? They are ahead of the game on Cuphead, right?
Fucking Cuphead, yes.
And then I also Ori was this past year. I think that was a good pick on their end as well. And then next year we've got Below and Inside, which I think is a smart move on their end as well. It's not that
Below looks cool.
Sony to me gets a higher quantity of games, and that makes it look like they have a good eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you get so many, of course you're eventually gonna nail one. But in between the journeys, they've also picked up fucking Unfinished Swan and Hohokum, which were fucking hokum.
Do you think?
And that one Entwined?
Entwined was complete and utter bullshit. Like they spoiled that stupid thing on the stage. Like, you become a dragon. It's like, okay, don't surprise us at all. And it's like, wow, this is just a vapid experience with pretty colors.
GG, Sony.
Yeah. So
I mean, Sony's. I think they're just doing a lot more though.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying. Listen, Sony's
they're kind of
winning
the
it
de facto indie console right now.
Yeah, they are doing it.
They got Rocket League.
Listen. I'm saying though, Microsoft is douchier, but Microsoft keeps bailing themselves out in the sense that when they make an indie pick and get behind a project, they seem to be really good at picking good ones.
Do you think it's because Microsoft is more of a Western as opposed to Sony, which is kind of East-West?
I mean, that might be a role in there, except for the fact that modern PlayStation and currently the PlayStation 4, I mean, Sony's a Japanese company, but that's a Western.
That
machine.
is Western design in every sense of the word.
Yeah, I mean, you got
It was very driven by.
Yeah.
Everything about it was built to capitulate to Western AAA developers.
Capitulate. I'm writing that in my journal tonight.
Yeah, whereas thank you. Whereas I think the PS3 was. Listen, people don't like hearing this because apparently it makes you a hater of Japanese games when you say these things. And clearly, I don't like any Japanese games ever. But
true.
Japan at their peak, especially around the PS2 era, were smug as fuck.
And the PS3, as a result, was
a
a shit show.
representation of being smug as fuck.
And a shit show.
And the PS3 was a shit show. A lot of the Japanese game industry was a shit show during Gen 7. So, it is what it is.
You're such a hater.
Yeah, man. Hater out here.
I'm going to write the comment right now.
You're going to write it? Alright. But I think it was a smart move. It was a savvy move making a system dev-friendly. I think, in general, I don't know. I mean, Microsoft's a software company, though, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're ignoring the... I don't think it's as simple as Microsoft's got this edge as much as Microsoft's made billions of dollars and probably has the resources and the people in place to make this type of stuff work, right? Like, it's not unsurprising when Microsoft does something stupid, because that happens. But at the same time, you can never count a Microsoft out because it's like, look at the resources they have to work with.
They're not going to go away. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If they want to stick around, they'll stick around.
Yeah, I think the larger.
And I think they've made a lot of the steps they need to make in 2015 and turn things around.
Yeah, I think
as well as they could.
Yeah.
I feel like the PS4 has so much momentum; it's kind of hard for it to go past.
They're never going to be. They've lost. Like they're
not going to be. It's going to be hard for them to be number one.
It's impossible.
But
it's impossible.
Yeah,
you write that.
But
down.
So far it seems like they've got a decent map set out for 2016.
Yeah, I like
more
the
games.
idea of Quantum Break. I like that Remedy is doing a new IP. I'm not fond of the idea that a TV show is connected to it, right? But that's because I hate that modern video games are all cinematics heavy. And this is, like, worse than being cinematic. You're a fucking TV show. But it's Remedy. Sam Lake can write. And Remedy's always had weird, cool TV shows in their games. So, whatever. I guess it could be a good idea. Sea of Thieves.
Them some Twin Peaks, man.
Sea of Thieves in my heart of hearts needs to be a good game. Because I really want a Rare back.
Yeah.
A good pirate
version
game.
of a Rare back. What's up?
Beat all these ninja games, so we don't get enough good pirate games.
Yeah, exactly.
Ninjas are winning the battle, Ben.
Yeah, and then
which is wrong.
What was the other big? I mean, they got Gears of War coming out this year. That I feel like will be a big breadwinner for them, but I think it suffers from exactly what we feel like when we see an announcement for Halo, which is like, yay, another one of those. And the fact
this ended
that
after 3.
Yeah, and it's like, it's basically being made by a tribute band, and that stuff's gonna be there. Halo Wars 2, I think, is like the only savvy move they made was put Creative Assembly on it and make it a PC game at the same time.
Also,
I want the game to be good.
Yeah, what?
Phil Spencer continues to insist on Twitter that Phantom Dust isn't dead.
I saw that today.
Yeah, maybe they have something else in mind with that game.
And there was allegedly some kind of trademark filing, so I don't know.
You're not going to.
I'm convinced that they think that could work because the response for it was really positive, and they're just like, maybe we just need to find a studio that will bow and scrape to our demands.
If Ben gets a Phantom Dust before I get a Persona 5, this world is unjust.
If either of you get either of those things before I get something Conquer related, this world is super unjust.
You're not getting anything Conquer.
I know, so this world is unjust.
Go play Project
Why didn't
Spark.
you make...
They cut him out of it!
They cut it out?
Actually, I think Conquer is likely to make a comeback at some point. I think if Sea of Thieves takes care of business and comes out a good game and they go, okay, the new Rare we have is capable of doing something, they're going to go, all right, let's get to... Because I don't think the Conquer Spark thing was just, oh, look, we put them in Spark. It was more so, we need to sell Spark. That was definitely a thing, right?
Right.
But at the same time, they wanted to go, all right, what's the interest level in Conquer? How do we turn this in a new era, right? Because, again, I go back to... Conquer is a very 90s game. I don't know how you do a 90s game in 2015, 2016 because
the humor would be
so different, and it would be, and we've gone over this. The equivalent of doing that in this era is taking internet humor, and internet humor sucks.
Yeah, internet humor isn't humor.
Yeah,
it's a misnomer.
Mostly because as a society, we have refused to let 1998 die. 1998 has been the longest year of our lives because it's basically been that year since. I mean, from any form of entertainment, I am being that asshole who says we're basically stuck in the 90s because the new millennium has been the 90s in one way or another. Minus the shitty clothing.
Yeah,
I was
better
about
fashion sense.
I was about to say I need to get some shoulder pads for my jackets.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Wear all jeans on my shirts.
I think we're all in the similar scenario though, right, Ben? Where we want Microsoft to still continue new IP, right?
Microsoft is at their best when they're backed into a corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's just at the point where when we saw the Halo numbers, they weren't as strong as what we were used to. So, I mean, you can't get a better sign than that says you need a new hit. You need something other than Halo and Gears now.
By all means, continue making those games because they'll make money, but you need something else.
But you need that new box mover because those franchises are getting stale. And if we're talking critically, Microsoft's best reviewed games this year were Ori and the Blind. Was Ori and the Blind Forest. I think that's the only one that cracked 90 on Metacritic.
That didn't crack 90.
It didn't even crack 90?
Which is a crime.
I could see an 8 for that game. Damn, that's rough. So nothing they've made has cracked a 90 since Gears of War 3? Nothing they've published.
You may be right.
That is grim. That was 5 years ago.
That's a drought.
That was 2011, yeah.
Yeah, that's a drought. You know, like, we're not big into review scales and all that stuff necessarily.
Yes, we are.
Oh,
Chris is.
You are. But at the same time, like, you get what I'm saying. Like, Sony can always, like, it helps promote a game on some level, right? Because Sony can promote The Last of Us with, like, look at all these glowing reviews this game has had, right? Bloodborne, I felt, was the same way. Like, once the reviews came in, they added new commercials that had the reviews for that game.
Right.
So, you know. Until Dawn being a surprise 8 out of 10, right? Whereas, like, Halo, when it gets an 8 out of 10, it's considered a disappointment. Even though it's probably what those games should have been getting for a long time. Anyway, moving on, though. Any other thing Microsoft needs to work on? That hideous UI on the Xbox One?
Yeah, why does it get slower every time?
Oh my god. It's like, why? Who's making this decision?
Yeah.
Why is
Windows 10 getting faster, but then the Xbox One is getting slower? Windows 10 has been good to me.
I love Windows 10 on my computer, yeah.
Yeah. I want to say, though, if Microsoft does go the extra mile and actually went the route of all their first-party games would also be on PC, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't buy an Xbox machine ever again, but I wouldn't complain.
Go the extra mile and be like, yo, this is basically also our platform, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want them to... I don't want the dark reality where Microsoft literally runs PC gaming. That would be terrible. That would ruin PC gaming, in my opinion.
It would be about the same as Steam, probably.
Sort of, but I think there's more than enough. I think GOG, Green Man Gaming, and all those people keep Steam honest.
And Origin still exists.
Yeah, Origin still exists.
Oh, yeah, they do exist.
Yeah.
What's that?
Origins is EA's thing.
Origin is the thing you have to boot up when you want to play Dragon Age or Titanfall.
Chris, even though you're probably never going to mess with Origin, the one cool thing about Origin is they keep giving these free games here and there, which isn't that bad of a way to, you know.
It's like, please use our service.
Free is a cool thing.
It's a cool service. Like, listen, as long as there's an open platform on PC, right, that's fine. That's great. I like a world where PC gaming is Windows and not, like, fucking Linux or fucking Apple. Because I like my Windows PCs usually. Otherwise...
Apple is never going to be in charge of that shit.
Yeah, thank God. Well, I mean, I remember the large reason why Valve's gotten into the whole Linux thing is because they need to be prepared for a scenario where if the Microsoft Store is competing with Steam, we all know how Microsoft software is going to handle Steam. It's like, oh, yeah, does Windows really take into account Steam? Not really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's only ready for anything.
Yeah. Valve's,
Yeah.
People who make that kind of money, believe it or not, are actually reasonably savvy about that stuff. So, who knew? Anyway. Otherwise, Microsoft, same scenario as Nintendo, make new things, but hold that L. You already lost this console generation. That is what it is. But they could do more to move boxes. I think they could do a better UI. I don't know why they care so... I mean, whatever. The gaming audience is always going to care that the Microsoft machine is only doing 900p, right?
Well, I mean, it's not going to get... The box isn't going to get more powerful, you know? They can't,
The thing I'm going to look at the PS4 is, I'm like, none of those games look impressive visually. And I say that
because you're spoiled on the PC.
It's not spoiled on the PC. Right, whatever. I'm just saying that we're in a generation where 4K TVs are about to become our standard, and these machines barely do 1080p 30 frames.
I'm just sitting here like, I like my
$2,000 on our Magic Box.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spend... Whatever. It is what it is. So move on to Sony?
Yeah, I
Make
guess.
something interesting for once in your life.
I mean, this
is their year to do that stuff. I think Horizon looks really good. I think...
yeah.
I mean, we're finally going to see if No Man's Sky is a thing.
But inevitably they'll choke like they always do, and it won't be good.
Debatable.
Well, with that kind of attitude...
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that's the
gonna be
reality.
happy.
Sony's first party outside of Naughty Dog is not impressive, and never has been impressive.
I agree on that sentiment. I don't know about okay, collectively they've never been that impressive. They've had their moments, like when Ueda was making his games.
They've had moments, but like as a team of studios,
yeah, like let's go over this. Santa Monica, one God of War out of the 3 are good, and that's God of War 2. The first one sucks. And the third, the first one is, I don't like the first game.
It is terrible.
People love the first game because it's the best plot in the series, fine. I'll agree there. I'm saying I hate that long, drawn-out freaking poor man Zelda dungeon stretch in that game. The fact that there's only 3 bosses in a God of War game, when that's one of the few things God of War does really well, is a detriment to that game. The combat isn't good enough to carry some of those long, laborious combat encounters. And fuck that Hades segment. And in the case of God of War 3, strong first half, weak second half.
You have a really good memory.
Yeah.
That first half so strong.
Well, it helps when the games are short. When they're like really long, and it's like...
Yeah, you got to remember, God of War is like at most an 8-hour game.
Let me put it this way. I have a really good memory for God of War because I've had to argue Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, or Ninja Gaiden over God of War a lot.
Now it makes sense.
Right. All right, whatever.
He's got those weaknesses like on a spreadsheet.
2 is a lot better. 3 is worse.
Yeah, I think 3 is a better game than 1, though. Like
3 has the best opening of all of them.
Yeah, yes, 3 has such a badass opening.
3 is a great opening.
I really like the Hades and Hercules fights. I think it's a shame that Poseidon gets all the credit when I think Hades and Hercules are better fights.
Hercules is the best fight in the game, dude.
Yeah, Hercules
is a good fight. And the combat system is definitely at its best for whatever that's worth.
But then, like, again, after that, like, Sucker Punch, people like the Sly Cooper games. I thought they were okay, but not, like, something special. I think they were funny, very creative. I didn't care for playing them that much. The Infamous games, 3 games, none of them are good. They're okay. Again, Sucker Punch is the okay developer. Will I play their game and be entertained for, like, a stretch? Sure, but then by the end of the game, I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's like watching Bad Boys 2, except not as funny as Bad Boys 2.
That's
what a random analogy.
Yeah, whatever. That's what we're about. Who else is on their docket? They've killed the SOCOM guys. They killed the Wipeout guys. Naughty Dog is great. No disagreement there. I don't care about.
We could talk about how Guerrilla has never been a good studio.
Guerrilla, I disagree because I think Killzone 2's multiplayer was fantastic, and
it doesn't make them a great studio. I don't
think they were a great studio, but they weren't. They were also not a bad studio either. I think Killzone 3's multiplayer is fine. It's just they shouldn't have dropped back from Killzone 2.
No, they made Rico their bad studio.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. They're bad at telling a story. They wouldn't be the first. They're not the first. video game developer that's bad at telling a story, they won't be the last video game developer to tell a bad story or make bad characters. And they've expanded. And I think Horizon, every time we looked at it, we were going...
Oh, I love Horizon.
I was like, other than the fact that she talks too much, yes, but she didn't come off annoying the way Rico did. You just felt like, all right, I don't need her to say everything little thing she's doing, which I think they were just doing for the sake of that pressure.
I hope they were,
Like, hey, we need you to let you know what's going on here.
But, otherwise, they've always had a good sense for atmosphere. They're one of the better studios from a technological standpoint. I just don't care for enough of their games. And then Sony Computer Entertainment Japan
hasn't made a game in a decade.
So no, that's a little different because they do make.
That's unfair.
Like, they make Puppeteer.
Tokyo Jungle came out.
Yeah, Tokyo Jungle, Puppeteer, Freedom Wars is them, and something else. Oh, Gravity Rush, right?
Yeah.
It's actually Ueda's team that's taken forever. At the same time, I go, they're very
Gravity Rush is a Vita game and therefore isn't real.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think they're re-releasing it for PlayStation 4.
They are.
Yeah, they are. But what I was gonna say
for the first time.
What I was gonna say is that studio's very creative, which I appreciate, but I don't like playing their games, which ultimately makes like Gravity Rush might be the exception, but like I like Shadow of the Colossus and Ico, but that's also, as Will pointed out, it's been a fucking decade. So,
Last Guardian, here it comes.
And then Gran Turismo's Gran Turismo. No, I'm not going to hate on Gran Turismo. It's
I
not
will.
my type. Whatever.
Boring.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Whatever.
Thank you, Chris.
Listen.
Tell him God's
series.
truth.
Whatever. The people here do not like driving games, but that's fine.
I like driving games.
I
That's
like
a boring
fun driving games.
Yeah, but shallower ones in comparison.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but-
It's boring.
Whatever. The point is...
I just
When
can't
Burnout
imagine. Have you
exists,
ever
see
seen
Burnout.
someone sit down
That's
and be
all I'm
like,
saying.
holy shit, I'm having the time of my life in Gran Turismo?
I mean,
nobody on this planet. That's the first time that's
I don't know about nobody on this planet. It's one of the most successful racing game franchises of all time. It's the most successful racing franchise of all time. It destroys Mario Kart in sales.
They woke up in a coma and they're like, holy shit, why did I buy this?
It destroys Mario Kart in sales, usually.
Impossible.
I want to find these people because I've never met someone who likes Gran Turismo.
You don't want to meet these people, Chris, because clearly they don't know what fun is.
I don't know. Gran Turismo 3 was a good game. You guys are crazy.
You talk to them and then they would immediately fall asleep and reach for their racing wheel.
Anyway, Gran Turismo, this highly decorated franchise, no hate there. All I'm saying is, I wouldn't go out of my way to say Sony's garbage, but Sony's first party has never been... When I look at the PS2, my favorite games are third party. When I look at the PS1, my favorite games are third party.
I'm not saying they're garbage. I'm just saying they've never been impressive.
Yeah, I don't have the love affair I have with Sony's first party the way I do with Nintendo. Like Nintendo pisses me off these days, but I still like their games. Whereas Sony, they're at least trying to appeal to me, and all the time I go, I don't care for this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, any counter or disagreement other than the weird Gran Turismo lack of credit being given?
I don't know. I wasn't listening that much, honestly.
What's up?
I honestly wasn't listening that much, which makes me feel bad.
I don't blame you.
Full Aljosa.
Hey, you were full Aljosa, buddy.
I did. I mean, Sony's some good stuff coming up this year, so I'm hopeful. Ultimately, the thing with all these companies, all I really care about is the games.
Yeah, and new things.
New exciting things.
Preferably
new exciting
games that are new things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Games that are new.
And Sony's got a few good things on the horizon with that.
Horizon.
Like Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe The Last Guardian comes out in 2016.
Yeah, Last Guardian I'm still excited for. Surprisingly still, after all
I
this.
can't believe that I'm still surprised or excited for that game. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
How am I still excited?
Ueda can direct a game.
Yeah.
And there's even a chance that Nier 2 comes out.
Yeah, Nier 2's looking really good this year.
Yes.
The Japanese...
That's not necessarily a new thing, but...
Yeah, the real benefit of the PS4 dominating has been that Japan seems to be in a better place to make a bit of a comeback on certain things.
Very true.
I think they kind of got off to a slow start, because maybe, if you're in Japan, I think a lot of Japanese developers weren't particularly invested in like developing for the next gen consoles.
Yeah.
Like they made active investments elsewhere. You know, like Capcom building mobile studios with their Monster Hunter money. You know, like a lot of what Square was kind of doing.
We talk about video game companies, Ben. So I don't know why you brought up Capcom, but to continue.
I mean, they used to be a video game company, right?
They used to be a video game company.
Nintendo used to be a playing card company, but we don't talk about how nice their decks were.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, maybe like now, you know, the PS4 is at least worldwide success.
Yeah.
Which I think surprised a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look at their position, not really.
Let's be clear here. In Japan, it's not that impressive.
And in Japan, it's not a huge success. Yeah. But I mean, we might see some more things start to squeak out.
I mean, really, the PlayStation 4 getting any play in Japan is going to come down to whether or not Final Fantasy 15 delivers. I mean, it's really that, right? Because there's no other Japanese game that can move the boxes that way.
Yeah, very
pretty
true.
much.
I mean, US Gamer ran a really good article
basically,
about,
it's basically come down to Final Fantasy 15 needs to deliver if we have any hope of more AAA Japanese games after that aren't like a random project, but whatever. Yeah, Horizon seems good. In theory, we should hear something about a Sucker Punch project. We'll probably hear about God of War or whatever Santa Monica is doing, which is probably God of War 4, right?
It is.
It's got Corey Balrog on it, which I liked God of War 2, and he directed that one. So, yeah.
Is it Balrog?
Isn't it Corey, what's his name, Ben? You like that guy?
Corey Balrog?
Yeah, it was.
I think
Balrog.
it is Balrog. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I think it's Barlog.
No, it's Balrog now.
No, it's Balrog now.
Okay, whatever.
Like, just hold this out.
He used to have a real name. That's not his name no more.
I don't know why we keep downplaying it. Uncharted 4 looks really good.
Yeah, it does. I
really good.
I still like what they're doing with that.
It looks.
So
it absolutely looks like one of the better games visually. It looks polished. The multiplayer looks fun. Naughty Dog's surprisingly better at multiplayer than most people want to give them credit. Because I think the multiplayer is the unsung hero of The Last of Us.
It looks 100% better than Uncharted 3.
Yeah. Uncharted 3.
Sure is still better about that if you can't say.
That game is terrible.
That game
It
is
terrible.
It is terrible. I don't understand how you follow up Uncharted 2 with that game.
If I made Will play Uncharted 3, I'd have to record it. Because just the rage would be so funny.
It would be funny. It would be worth it alone. He would bury them. He'd go the extra mile and act like nothing they did before that was good. Max hyperbole.
This is all 100% accurate.
Yeah. Like we said when we initially talked about the game, if they hadn't done The Last of Us before Uncharted 4, you would have thought some of the stuff when they're saying it's more open-ended design is just PR speak. But, you know, we've seen glimpses of that, and we've seen... I did think the set piece they showed at E3 looked like it dragged. I thought that was a little overdone. Like, look at all this mud on his shirt! And I was just like, I don't care. Like, that doesn't look that interesting to play. But the rest of that game...
Can I play the mud on his shirt?
What?
Can I play the mud on his
Yeah,
shirt?
that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't play the mud on his shirt. It's not a platformer where the mud's gonna, like, hop across, like, different, you know, creases of his shirt, so I don't really see it. But otherwise, Uncharted 4
what
looks
you're
like...
saying is we needed a crossover between Uncharted and World of Goo.
And Squid Jump?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Uncharted 4 looks good. It looks like the big block... It's easily the big blockbuster of this first quarter, right? It's a March game or April?
got delayed to
April. I
April,
think it's
wasn't it?
April 4th.
Well, then it's the big AAA game of Q2. I just don't think anything else is going to sell as much as Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4, I think, is going to put up a really strong number. And people are going to be surprised. And then they're going to say, Uncharted system sells. Like, no, the PS4 is just that successful. And Uncharted was already a big franchise, so now it gets a boost. This is what it is.
Dark Souls will sell a lot, but that's because it's across all the systems.
Yeah. Otherwise, Sony really just needs to keep doing what they're doing and just continue. Like, again, same thing as new IP, but they're being the least shitty to us. You know, and financially speaking, we can't really tell them to not do some of the things they're doing because they're making money. So, you know,
For the first time in years.
Well, I mean, if we're talking Sony as a company, that might be debatable, but yeah. Yeah, PlayStation's doing their thing. So
I mean, there's also PlayStation VR stuff coming, right?
And nobody here cares.
Yeah, when you tell me the Oculus Rift needs a super powerful PC, I don't care about PlayStation VR. It's gonna be hard to. It's a hard sell, Ben. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it depends a little bit on cost.
Yeah. Because
it's going to be expensive.
If anything, PlayStation VR seems to me like the beta test for whenever the PlayStation 5's VR is going to be. VR is not going to die the way people think it's going to die. I think that's a stupid idea. It's like, we're going to get expensive VR, but people aren't putting into consideration that there will be a, year 2, phase 2 of this. Like, I think the VR companies know that. Like, that's the sense I've been getting, is that I do think, yes, it is possible that they can be such commercial failures that there won't be a phase 2. But I do think that phase 1 is just getting out there.
There'll be a phase 2. Yeah. I mean,
has an Oculus Rift already sold out its pre-orders or something?
Yeah, it has.
It has, but it's also not clear how big that batch is.
The way I look at the Oculus is it's very much like the Wii and Rock Band in that you're not going to get... It's not what you're going to do initially. It's what's going to happen when people go to someone's house and like, oh, what the fuck is that thing? And then they mess with it, and then they're like, oh my god, this is rad, and now I'm going to get it myself, right?
I heard Rock Band. I got really excited.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that was big for Rock Band and Guitar Hero. Like, initial Guitar Hero sales, you look at it historically, the first Guitar Hero, the first round of sales, not that impressive. But then all of a sudden that game got legs.
Because everybody played it with their friends, and they were like, I want this.
Yeah, that game was a word-of-mouth game, and that's what happened to Rock Band. That's a lot of what Wii was word-of-mouth. Because you can only show someone something on a commercial, but when they've, actually interacted with it, then it's a whole different ballgame. Which, everyone that's messed with VR headsets has come away saying, oh my god, this is fucking rad, right? So yeah. I'm going to assume, it's doing something right. I do think it's funny that VR porn is a thing.
I mean, that was the first logical step, right?
Yeah, Chris, didn't you know VR porn is a thing?
If it exists, there must be porn.
Yeah,
of
if it exists, there has to be porn.
There's porn of VR?
Yeah.
Or on VR.
Yeah, actual VR. You ever watch the FOV pornos?
Like VRs having sex with each other?
Not like... Well, I'm not going to rule it out. Because I'm
not going to rule it out, but...
It's the internet.
Yeah.
It probably is there somewhere.
I was like, I can't believe we're, questioning what type of pornos Chris has watched. But, Chris, there are pornos where sometimes they just show the view. Listen, the Endless Backlog podcast talks about
just
everything.
a sec. I'm researching.
Talk about porn made to be used with a VR device.
Yes. Yeah,
VR sex.
Turn your safe search on. Turn your safe search on.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Virtual Porn Report Part 3. We got 3 reports on this.
Okay. Part 3.
Part 3. Anyway. Oh my god, too funny. Too funny.
Send me the link.
Other than that, it's just...
It's for educational purposes.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway. I can keep pressing the market.
You are a scumbag.
That was classic.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
I'm proud of you, Ben.
Yes. I like that you try to stop us from doing this with an added to it. Anyway, that's that for the big 3. PC gaming continue to be PC gaming. Ben.
Yeah.
The Witness is $39.99 on Steam.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. I'm saying that.
I mean,
he did say the game was going to be long, and now I believe it.
It's got, apparently, the last number I've heard is actually over 700 different puzzles.
That's a lot of John Blow puzzles.
I still haven't
Which is a ton of puzzles.
Which is a ton of John Blow puzzles.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to assume that there's finally going to be some Puss Wagon puzzles in there, which thank fucking God.
I mean, it sounds like, if you saw the old, stage demo.
Yeah.
Or, those, kind of 15-minute long demos they did starting from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those puzzles are going to be, kind of teaching you the rules without without spelling it out for you, but being like, okay, this is how this is what this symbol means.
It happens because now that he's made a full 3D game, it's not as simple as a 2D. It's not as simple as Braid was to look at.
Where you could kind of like it was like one screen. It's like this is your power. Okay,
and then the
now
puzzles are within the puzzles. Like there's a larger puzzle being played with the island shifting.
Yeah, it seems like you're only going to really need to like do half of them maybe to beat the game, but that's still.
Even though that's the game coming out in literally a week,
like for me,
it's for. Hey, listen, I'm talking now.
Yes, sorry.
God. Anyway, it's the only game this year that has to live up to Goggin expectations. Every other game I'm mildly excited for, but it's typical. Like, I'm interested. I'm not like whatever. But The Witness, I expect greatness.
Witness, I see you've already purchased it.
I bought that in Darkest Dungeon today.
Darkest
Dungeon is out of early access,
but I probably will. The Witness. I mean, like with the price point, I know there's been some argument about it.
The Talos Principle was $40.
Digital game, Talos Principle was $40. I bought that when it was 10% off.
What game?
So 36 Talos Principle.
Mm-hmm.
So and like that was totally worth it. That was a huge game, tons of puzzles, tons
the
of
visual work was pretty good.
Smart storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Probably one of the more challenging stories of the last 3 or 4 years.
I mean, it was well done. And The Witness seems like it will do a lot of similar kinds of things.
Yeah, and we know it's going to be smug. We all know it's going to be smug as shit. I
mean, I like Jonathan Blow's brand of, like...
Smug,
yeah. I mean, I think he's an intelligent guy.
Yeah, Braid is fantastic.
He's not a pretentious guy. He's actually smart.
Yeah, I think, whatever. He hit up Thesaurus with Braid, but I love that story, actually. I think the ending is fantastic.
Yeah, and then, like, even if we're not, like, super fans of all the writing, I think there's an effect to it. Like, it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's building up to what happens in that ending.
Do you think he bombards comment sections telling people they're wrong in their interpretation of his videos?
You guys just don't get it.
I don't think he does that too much anymore.
He did it one too many times, though.
Yeah, you would hope he would have learned his lesson.
Yeah,
he's probably not gonna do it anymore.
He's learned his lesson.
He's learned his lesson now.
Speaking of which, I also bought that game, That Dragon Cancer. But,
why would you do that, man?
Because I want to see that subject matter. I want to see how someone did it.
Are you prepared to be emotionally wrecked?
I mean, I guess. I mean, like, in the case of, like, Papo Yo, you know what I mean? Like, we don't get games like that. We don't get a game that's really reflective of someone's life and something they went through that way. Like, Papo Yo spoke to me easily because subject matter. But, like, That Dragon Cancer, that seems like a really rough thing, and I'm curious to see how they handle it in the game. Because I feel that... first of all, added bonus, it's something I haven't played before. So, like, the novelty's there, so I'm automatically there. And, you know, I don't want to hear that gaming is art, and then when something like this comes out, we go, oh, well, it's not a game, they shouldn't handle that subject matter. And it's like, what? What?
The sheer amount of internet crying over the subject matter in that game is, like, astounding.
I mean, like, whatever. Everybody's always going to cry, how could a game like that get 9 out of 10? It's like, whatever. Who cares about what number someone gave it?
Isn't that so weird how there seems to be this kind of double standard with gamers? It's like, we think video game stories should be taken seriously, and then something like this comes out, they're like, that's not a game.
It's like subject matter that's serious, they're like, well, why isn't it fun? It's not a game.
Well, it's like, yeah, I would imagine a game about cancer isn't fun.
Basically, they want their next Call of Duty to have, like, a really good story.
That's what I'm saying.
They want respect.
You can't do this story about your child having cancer as a FPS. It wouldn't. Why would you do that?
You have to shoot the cancer Goggin.
Right? And
you play the role of the chemotherapist?
Yeah. If anything, back to the John Blow thing from Ben, John Blow, I remember having an interview with GameSpot, said he hated the word fun. Not in the sense that, oh my god, fun's wrong. It's like, we get too wrapped up in the idea that all games must be fun and that fun is the only description of a game. And he went to Counter-Strike, he's like, I would never describe Counter-Strike as fun. It's a brutal game when you're playing it. Because it's you're on your edge, you're very tense, you know, like it's really satisfying you when you get
And then,
killed.
like, if you fuck up, then it's like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and watch other people play for a while.
Yeah. I mean, like, whatever. Counter-Strike is a fun game, but, like, his way of describing brutal made more sense to me, right?
It's a stressful game.
I think Spec Ops The Line is very much that. Like, I think if we're criticizing that game for not being fun, that's flawed because
it's okay that it's not fun. Yeah,
it's okay that it's not fun. Like, it's not trying to be fun. I don't like aspects of how banal it gets at times, but that's whatever. But like, its point is getting across. Like, you can't just dismiss its story, right? So,
and I think what I respect about Jonathan Blow a lot is, he speaks to like kind of this fear that always is in my head about games. You see this especially in the mobile space, where games are sort of built to take your time and not really give anything back besides that kind of fun or some kind of illusion of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And
John Blow wants to challenge
most people. John Blow has, always, in talks he gives and in the games he makes, tries to challenge that. And a lot of people, find that scary, I guess, or, it's presumptuous of him to make those kinds of challenges, but, I respect his conviction on that stuff a lot, and I think he's backed it up with Braid. And I know he's been trying to back it up with The Witness, too. And so, we'll see how it comes out. But I'm very excited about it. I'm probably going to pre-order it.
Other games to be excited about?
The other game that's got my hype is Mirror's Edge 2, but that's just me personally.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
All right, good.
Because, what else plays like Mirror's Edge these days? Dying Light had a version of parkour, but it wasn't the same, I would argue.
It's a different kind of thing. And, they've shown so far, from the beginning at least this time, that they understand what was good about the first game in terms of keeping the freedom of movement. And I like what they've shown in terms of how the combat works and how the combat ties into your momentum.
Yeah,
which is very different from what they did in the first game.
They were trying to do that in the first game, but they didn't really succeed.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're trying to make it work.
And so this time they're stripping out the guns, which I know people wanted.
Do you want them to flesh out the story and character more? Because it seems like they want to make an effort there as well.
I mean, they were going to do that however way they did it. But, I mean, I think the open world for that can work for that game, depending on how the world is structured. And I'm excited to explore that way again and, use those controls and run through that world. I think, the first game is a really special DICE game, and so this one has me very, very excited. Those are the two games I'm really looking forward to the most, at The Witness and Mirror's Edge.
Christopher Compton, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about a game.
What do you want from me?
There's this indie Japanese studio named From Software who's making this game called Dark Souls 3.
Okay, what's it about?
It's about, fighting monsters and stuff.
I do like monsters.
You, kill things and, their souls get absorbed as currency.
Souls! Wait a second. This is starting to sound familiar.
And if you die, you lose your souls, which are your currency for buying stuff and leveling up.
This is
some spiritual successor to Bloodborne?
This is the spiritual successor to Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. I haven't, again, as with all Souls games, I don't look at anything going into them because I know they always show gameplay of bosses or gameplays of areas, and I want to be totally surprised. I don't want to know the trick going into a boss before the game even comes out. And I always love the build-up.
Usually when they show,
they die,
gameplay of a boss, it's them getting wrecked by said boss.
Yeah.
So.
I know, but I still love that tension of you coming up to an area, you don't know if that's a boss or not, whereas you remember it from the trailer and say, oh yeah, that's
There's
a boss.
that good moment in, a Bloodborne or a Souls game, if I go further, I think a cutscene's gonna play.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're like,
maybe I can run back to that land.
Shouldn't have gone. Yeah. But everything I've been hearing, the actual mechanics and gameplay details, just posted on forums or on articles, I've liked what I've been hearing.
Bringing the quicker stuff of Bloodborne into Dark Souls combat.
Yes, absolutely, is going to be. The only thing I don't know if they've changed this or if I read it incorrectly. The bonfires are handled a little differently, though. In the sense that I heard you can actually place some bonfires.
what is this, like your own personal bonfires?
Right. I don't know
what
if
is this, Ori in the Blind Forest now? You can make your own
don't
save
think
spots?
this is for.
They should take ideas from the number 6 endless backlog game.
I mean, should they though? When Bloodborne was number 4 endless backlog game?
Yeah, they should learn more from Bloodborne. I
They
mean,
should
I
learn
guess
more
they should
from The
learn
Witcher
more.
3,
Yeah.
which is number 1.
They should actually learn from Rocket League and just have cars flying through the air in Dark Souls 3.
The plot twist, the final boss in Dark Souls 3 is a Rocket League car.
Is a soccer ball.
It's a soccer ball.
No, Dark Souls 3, most hype game, at least of the first couple months this year.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
then another big one, I know you and Kira, for instance, really like Deus Ex Human Revolution. Ben, you like that game too, don't you?
Human Revolution, yeah.
Yeah. Mankind
I enjoyed
Divided
it.
is this year.
Yeah.
Got delayed a little bit, but it is still this year, yeah.
I think that's a positive. I like to think that's a positive.
It should be. Yeah, hopefully it is.
Yes.
Delayed games eventually good as they always.
I'm looking
As
forward
the
to
saying
playing
goes.
through. I've been wanting to go back and replay original Deus Ex because I love that game.
The first one?
And then I'll play. Yeah, the original's fantastic. Fuck you, you blasphemous asshole. Anyway, but I'll make an effort to play Human Revolution and get over.
I also should
get over how criminally awful that tutorial is.
You just gotta tase people in the butt, man.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not awful. It's just really degrading to your intelligence.
Yeah.
It's. I'm telling you, it's just tase people in the butt territory.
Yeah, whatever. But no, Deus Ex is looking really. I honestly, when they were showing at E3, I was like, wow, that's a polished looking game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Human Revolution looks. I mean, it still looks fantastic. The art
It has
design.
the art design hides its datedness.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, just how like everything flowed smoothly. Like usually, you get that moment in the E3 demo where you go, "Well, that's a frame rate dip. Well, that's screen tearing. That texture popping. That one character didn't load in the background, because the internet gets behind it. Like once you get
froze.
the screenshots of it, yeah. But like even Uncharted 4, it crashed the first time they showed it. You know what I mean?
Right.
A moment of silence.
Yeah.
That was
But,
fantastic.
Like, Mankind Divided was looking really sharp as a game. I think people got worried that they were showing too much of the shooting, but it was a response to the idea that shooting things in Human Revolution didn't feel good, and Deus Ex isn't a stealth game. The idea of Deus Ex is you can do whatever the fuck you want. So you have options, so you need to make the shooting part a little bit more enjoyable. Obviously, you don't want to overkill it, because then you make the game mindless, right?
True.
So Deus Ex is looking really sharp. Hitman,
Yeah.
unfortunately, has a stupid early access idea going on, but you can buy it $60, and so far, it's exactly what you want from Hitman. Pocket sandboxes.
Nothing like Absolution. Fuck that game.
Yeah, so far they showed 0 footage of him having detective vision, which, for the record, when the Batman games don't make detective vision a necessary part of basic navigation in the world, and they're the games that brought detective vision effectively to this medium, right? Don't do that in your game. Rocksteady basically told you the do's and do nots of this thing. So don't do the do nots. Why? Chris, why?
They didn't play Batman, I guess.
I know, they should. Arkham Asylum's rad.
Whereas Hitman
Hitman-
hasn't been rad in a while.
Hitman has not been rad since Blood Money. But
Agreed.
But to be
Blood
fair,
Money is so good.
But to be fair, they also only released one Hitman game since Blood Money, and that's Absolution. So it wasn't that big of a deal. I think part of the issue is that Hitman was never a AAA production. Like, it was a middle-tier game.
And then in the effort of trying to make it a AAA game, they kind of lost what made it special.
There's no middle-tier market, and then they had to make a AAA game. They had to make a AAA engine for it, right? Like, that game
does
pretty.
look good.
Yeah, that is a pretty-looking game. But when you make a game that pretty, a lot of time is invested on the engine, not enough on the gameplay, yada, 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 whatever. Like we saw with Metal Gear, doing a game like that. Like, a lot of what Metal Gear does is certain things Hitman was always doing. You know what I mean?
Like the ability to hide stuff in dumpsters. So glad that somebody else finally brought that into the world.
I wish Splinter Cell would come back to its old glory, but whatever. You can't expect Ubisoft to get everything right. What else?
At this point, I would just not expect anything from Ubisoft.
The February game of the month, just throwing this out in advance, it's XCOM 2. It will be nothing else coming out in February that is worth any of that
Street Fighter 5?
Street Fighter 5
is March?
Street Fighter V is February 16th.
Street Fighter V will be great. It won't be as good as XCOM 2.
It will not be as good as XCOM 2.
I'm sorry, Ben Minkoff. The Revenge of McDucky swag is way more important than whatever bullshit is going on between Guile against Shadowloo, or Ryu's quest to be the greatest fighter ever, or whatever the fuck Akuma is about.
This could be the most stressful couple months to start a year in video games ever. We've got XCOM 2, which is a nail-biter every single moment.
Oh my god, the 1%. And we got Fire Emblem that month, too.
Yeah, Fire Emblem.
That
all three
too.
Fire Emblem games.
We got Waifu Emblem.
Oh my god, and Dark Souls 3. Oh, this is going to take years off my life, those 3 games right there.
Prepare your anus, Chris.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Those are harsh games.
Think about it. We've come out of the dreaded stretch of, God, everything's an FPS, to the big things we're going to be playing. At least someone in our group at some point will be playing what could be a 40-hour puzzle game, which is going to be stressful.
Oh, the Witness,
fucking John Blow. XCOM 2, a turn-based strategy game. Where
if you die, you die.
Where when your characters die, they die. Another turn-based strategy game from arguably one of the better franchises in that entire genre, in Fire Emblem, to one of the best action RPG franchises on the market these days and ever, in my opinion, in the Souls games, to the fighting game franchise, right?
Yeah.
Heavy hitters out to play.
Yeah, and then you got, like the most quote-unquote blockbustery and vapid game is Uncharted 4, but it looks really good. It looks really fun, and Neil Druckmann and Straley have shown they have some good design chops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, 2016, I think I'm going to go on record. I think it absolutely will be a better year than 2015.
God damn, this is ridiculous. Usually I have the first couple months to catch up on 2015 stuff I couldn't get to.
Yeah.
Now I can't. There's no time.
It's not February yet, man. You got time.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think what's happened is that actually Q3 and Q4 are a little bit weaker, and now Q1 and Q2 are better than they used to be.
But even weak, they still have these massive games that take up huge chunks of time.
No, that's been the problem. We've been getting really big, lengthy games. I guess game developers had to respond to the whole, why are games so short nowadays? And now we're like, God, why are games so long these days?
Why is everything an open world?
Gamers just bitch. We just bitch all the time, no matter what you do.
There's no satisfying us.
No.
Video games have to be art, but you can't make a story about cancer.
No.
Video games can handle mature themes, but you can't make a video game about cancer. Video games are meant for adults too, but don't make a story about cancer.
That's just too mature.
Yeah.
You have to go back.
Don't handle subject matters like equality or growing up gay and then your parents might disown you. Like, don't have that subject matter in your game.
See, when we say mature, we just mean like blood and sex.
Yeah.
Blood and guts and swearing and awkward Mass Effect sex.
Yes, that's maturity.
Of the things I'm happy about when we picked The Witcher 3, it was the most adult story in that group.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean,
Rocket League.
Come on.
Rocket League story is pretty
Rocket
mature.
League is pretty adult, I guess. Metal Gear, I'm sorry, Kojima's
has the crappy of the stories on that list.
What a save!
Yeah.
What a save! What a save!
Well,
I'm sure Until Dawn
Nice
has
shot.
more nuance than Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Kojima played us like a damn fiddle, yo.
He played us like a damn fiddle.
I don't know. What else is there another game someone's excited for, like really pumped to play? That's coming out.
Let me look.
I hope near
Persona 5. Hello.
Oh yeah, we haven't even said Persona 5.
Well,
I'd be
that's 'cause
lying
there's-
if I said I wasn't excited for Quantum Break or Star Fox Zero.
Yeah,
Star Fox Zero?
Remedy. Remedy's really good. Max Payne 1 and 2 are very good games. Alan Wake's fun. Ish.
I mean, FF15 is going to be
Allegedly.
interesting, even if it's bad, because we want to see what they've been doing for a decade.
Those are the two big question marks on my radar. Is Final Fantasy 15, Last Guardian, Persona 5 actually going to come out this year? I intend to find out.
That's in
I
like
hope
3
so.
question marks, not 2.
Yo, the point is, Final Fantasy 15 and fucking Last Guardian are the same thing at this point. They're not coming out, ever.
I think Atlas.
I think they're both going to
board.
release this year. You don't release a demo unless you've got something.
Yeah, I think
Sure you
Atlas is pretty much set for Persona 5 this year.
I'm pretty sure they said that weeks before it was supposed to come out. It didn't happen.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the last two podcasts when I've been telling you this, you're like, no, it's going to happen. Now we're going to role reverse on this? Are you serious?
Because I'm scared, Goggin.
Okay.
I'm afraid.
He's got too much invested in this, man.
Don't be afraid.
Well,
It'll be all right.
Here's the thing. Here's the problem.
What if I'm happy?
Yeah, what if it ends up not as... I mean, like, it probably won't be as good as... It won't be as good in the areas that you like Persona 4.
That's absurd. Of course
no,
it
I'm saying it like... It won't be as good at certain things, the things you really like about Persona 4. Like, it'll still be a good game. I don't think
I don't think the waifu attachment's going to be as high for you this time, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about the waifu stuff. As long as
Let's not get crazy, Chris.
You absolutely do. Don't lie to me.
As long as the core cast of characters has a tangibly amazing relationship where I feel something for them, don't care. Like, it's not going to be... I know they're not going to be friends, like the high school friends of Persona 4's cast. I know that's not the route they're going. But if I still feel the camaraderie in a different way, like they're just all dicks, that's cool.
And they're united in their dickishness?
Yeah, they're united in being Robin Hood. I like that. They're a band of brothers. They should call it Band of Brothers.
Band of dicks.
Band of dicks. It's like a bag of dicks, but they play instruments.
Okay.
This got out of hand.
Yeah,
It did.
I don't even know where that went. Nier 2, thank God. Platinum Games are the number one mercenary studio, with number 2 being Telltale these days. Telltale's Batman. I hope that's actually this year.
Yeah, that's coming out this year.
Yeah, I don't think it'll finish this year, so it'll probably be like... That might be like a late holiday run, but I'm interested to see...
Unless one of the lines of dialogue that you can choose in that game is, "Yes, Father, I shall become a bat," then they failed. Like,
I shall become a bat.
When armed with that kind of cheese, you have to. Just have to.
Hopefully we get news on The Wolf Among Us Season 2. Because that's a rad adventure game.
Telltale Batman game is like Adam West Batman.
Oh, man. Yes.
We're not playing it.
Yes, Ben. Yes, Ben.
You and me, Chris.
No.
Absolutely.
In the latest...
Batman is not Batman. Batman is
only
miserable.
choice is Batman.
No, Batman is miserable and sad and depressing and a piece of shit.
Except in the 60s when he was in a comedy and he didn't know it.
Yeah, exactly. You're the reason we can't have irreverently amazing things.
Whatever happened to optimism, Goggin?
That's not what I want in Batman.
That
do that
is
in
not a Batman thing.
do that in Telltale Superman or Telltale Flash. Do that.
Yeah,
I would want
What happened to a Batman who talked on the phone with the mayor?
Look at all the games on this list, and there's not a single funny one. That's going to be the funny one.
The newest, latest, whatever, Lego Batman, they have a section of Adam West Batman, and it is so fun. It is so fun, and it's so stupid because you're on a set. Oh my, it's like a bonus level and you have to go somewhere in the hub to find it, but it's so funny and it plays so well.
Kevin Conroy is the only Batman, so
he wasn't even that good in Arkham Knight.
That's fine. He's allowed to have a bad day at the office. What is this? What is this question about Kevin? I swear to God, every time I question Troy Baker, it's like, oh no, Troy, you can't be
Troy Baker is a flawless human being. You don't understand.
Yeah, but Kevin Conroy, who has been our Batman since our childhood, Chris, you're gonna question him after his years of service.
Every voice actor in every game you've loved.
He's had 3 shitty performances in the last 2 years.
Be real. Let's be
3
real.
shitty performances in the last 2 years.
Kevin Conroy's had 1 performance, and it was shitty the past year.
His British accent in Shadow of Mordor is one of the most offensive British accents you will.
What are you talking? It's not a British accent. It's a fantasy accent.
It's still bad. What the fuck? Are you high?
I just think you hate fantasy things, Goggin.
That's
That's how they talk in fantasy games.
He was the worst. His Ocelot was terrible.
Okay, that game was terrible though. So
that is the voice director's fault. Where it's
you can't blame the voice director for when you couldn't maintain a consistent accent throughout the whole game yourself.
That is entirely on the voice director.
You don't get You don't get a free pass for that. That's on you too.
He should have said, "Do that again."
He should have said, "Do that again."
Hold on. Would any of us name drop the voice director? No, right? So none of us would give any credit. Who would get all the credit? Troy Baker. So who gets all the blame now? Troy Baker. Anyway,
I agree.
Director. Listen, the story in Metal Gear is stupid, but I had whatever. What was the last good Troy Baker performance in a video game? Because Shadow of Mordor, he was terrible.
I don't know about terrible.
Bioshock Infinite and The Last of Us?
Yeah, 2013.
Okay.
Let me IMDb.
Since then, he's been pretty iffy in his performances.
I'll be the judge of that.
You can't talk about my boy Troy like that.
I'm sorry that he's not that good. He's had bad performances.
B, listen. Yo, he was amazing as...
He was terrible in Shadow of Mordor.
As,
And he sucks as Oslo. I stand by that one.
As,
Joel? You just don't like the accent.
It's not even just the accent. First of all, the accent is just stupid that they made Ocelot Southern.
The actual, like, when
but,
he's
the actual acting
lines,
he's doing,
fine.
but his actual delivery of the lines is bad at times, too.
What about, I didn't play it, but what about Pagan
when you can't
Myth,
you can't maintain a pitch, and that's like your entire job is maintaining a pitch. It's like,
apparently in Far Cry 4 he was really good.
He got nominated. He got nominated.
Yeah,
Far Cry is a Ubisoft game.
Yeah, we didn't play that, but whatever.
And I don't play Ubisoft games anymore.
Yeah, fine.
I've heard good things about Tales of the Borderlands.
Yeah, it's fine. Hey, I'm just saying, let's not act like he hasn't had bad performances, because he has.
Can't believe you talk about Troy.
I forgot what the third one is that I hate really much. I'm sorry he's had bad performances. Oh, he's a shitty Two-Face in Arkham Knight. And that's not even that's not just the script. His acting, him and Nolan North are actually terrible. Nolan North was fine as Cobblepot in Arkham City, but then when Mark Hamill jokes about how fake that accent is in the game, I wanted to be like, see, they just wrote this as like a script thing, but I'm with you, Mark Hamill. Like, what was Nolan North? Like, what happened to North and Baker? All of a sudden, they got too cute with their accents? Like, fuck out. I want them both to retire. Stop being in my video games.
No, they're both going to be in Uncharted 4.
Stop hating.
Oh, yeah.
As brothers, finally.
I need new, actual good voice actors in my games. With some consistency to them.
This is disgusting.
I'm sorry. People gassed up Troy Baker as this guy with all this range, and, like, we've gotten
He does have all this range.
He has all this range, yet we have 2 examples of when he actually flexes his range and he sucks.
That's not his fault.
It can't always be someone else's fault. If this is your voice performance, you couldn't maintain a consistent pitch.
Yo,
that's your job.
The point is, Ape Escape is a shit game. You know what you're talking about.
Ape Escape is so much better than Troy Baker as a voice actor.
Okay.
This just got ugly.
If one's gotta go, Troy Baker as a voice actor's gotta go. Ape Escape stays.
I can't tolerate this. This is disgusting.
Fuck Troy Baker.
Okay, one's got to go from 2016.
Game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Won't come out this year.
Persona 5.
I'm not putting Persona 5 in there.
No.
All right,
I think you're 3. Oh, fine, you got the 3.
Who is the 3?
Go for it.
Me? Oh,
it's
shit.
yours.
Okay.
I think Goggins still mad at me from the last time I did it, so you should probably do it.
Oh, yeah.
Weren't you naming it?
No.
Yes. I got this. Listen, okay. The 3, one's got to go. Okay. Is it not coming out this year, or it's gone forever?
How mean do we want to be?
It's just gone. It gets canceled. Okay, the game gets canceled.
Okay.
Phantom Dusted.
Yeah, like Phantom Dust. The way it's okay. So
Phantom Dust is a verb now.
The Witness.
Oh, that's not going.
No, it's canceled in 2 weeks or 7 days. It'll get canceled.
Okay. Well,
The Witness.
Let me just say that you're getting dropped from this call if any of you pick The Witness. So.
Okay, The Witness, Final Fantasy 15, or Last Guardian.
It's easy. Final Fantasy 15.
Whoa. You're crushing 10 years of dreams, my friend.
And Square has earned... I mean, I would want to give it to The Last Guardian, but Last Guardian has the potential to be something different. Fine. We have... I believe if they said it's the 15th Final Fantasy, we have at least 14 games from that franchise. 2 of them are MMOs. The rest of them are JRPGs proper, if you will. So
if we're talking... So for me, it's like... If we're talking developers I respect, and we have like Jonathan Blow, Fumito Ueda,
and then the asshole who made FF-Type Zero, yeah, it's not close.
It's like, yeah, there you go.
Like, even if you put Nomura here, I'm like, yeah, Nomura is the worst of the 3. Even Nomura is the worst of the 3. Because
even if Jonathan Blow and Fumito Ueda take like 8 years to make a video.
Like if this was Sakaguchi versus the other two, then I'm like, oh come on, that's ridiculous.
Okay, maybe for you two it's an easier discussion.
Yeah, fuck Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
but for Will and Kira, it'll be tougher.
Oh, they're not getting rid of Final Fantasy 15.
Oh wait, they'll get rid of the Witness.
Yeah, or the Last Guardian. If anything, I think it's easier for them with the other two.
I would honestly probably say the Witness. Sorry.
Yeah, I just
Chris, what's your pick?
As much as I want that game to be good, and as much as I'm going to buy that game, I have an emotional attachment to Final Fantasy, and I really want The Last Guardian to be amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just because it would make everyone cry, I'll get rid of The Last Guardian. Because how funny would that be if that gets canceled after 10 years?
I'm glad that your reasoning is that it would be hilarious.
It would be the funniest of the three, for sure. Even funnier than Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15 wouldn't be funny because it would be the death of the Japanese console market.
Yeah, so it's not funny. Goggin,
that's not funny.
I mean, listen, they brought it upon themselves. I love Japanese games. Doesn't mean I have any sympathy for something they did to themselves. I don't have any sympathy for Kratos for something he did to himself.
Yeah, fuck Kratos. What an idiot.
Fuck that guy, but this ain't even the same.
This is exactly the same. Square brought everything that's happened to them on themselves.
Crazy talk.
It's literally their own doing.
I bet you think Troy Baker's not a good voice actor either.
He's a good voice actor, but people act like he's perfect. It's like, okay, get the fuck out. He's had some bad.
Have you seen that man's ponytail? He is perfect.
Yeah. Like, he's handsome. I'm not disagreeing that he's handsome. He's good looking. Yeah, he's a very good voice actor.
That's what we were trying to get to the bottom of.
He's young, so he's got the advantage over Kevin Conroy. Well, Kevin Conroy will actually phone it in here and there, right? But at the same time, you know, when they've asked him to play a whatever, if he's not British, that whatever that accent is still terrible. Like, they could have just got, like, it's the equivalent of what Natalie Portman's British accent is in V for Vendetta versus the chick they got for Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Well, Daisy Ridley is British, so
yeah, so it's almost like they should have hired a British person for that Italian guy or whatever.
Okay, I got another one. So we're doing predictions, right?
Like, his southern accent is actually good, because he was fine in The Last of Us. The one he did for Ocelot was fucking trash. One, because it shouldn't have been southern in the first place. And two, because it was, like, jarring halfway through when you're going, what the fuck, did he just change accents all of a sudden? And that I'm not blaming on a voice director. Your job is to maintain a pitch.
That's not a pitch, man.
The director's job is to say, try again.
Yeah.
The director's like, dude, you're kind of not sound southern.
The director gets some blame for not noticing
Or maybe
it.
he was just sounding southern, and then he was like, say this differently. And
We're
then,
no. We are not.
It's all ruined.
We are not using Kojima bullshit as justification for Troy Baker.
Are you?
Did.
Either way, making a
Konami's
commentary.
fault.
Either way, he's a shitty Ocelot.
This is Konami's fault somehow.
Anyway, continue. I was actually going to go with one's got to go with the voice actors: Nolan North, Troy Baker, or Kevin Conroy as
Kevin Conroy
as Batman. You guys are just getting rid of Batman like this.
Yeah, see,
I mean, I haven't played a Batman game since I used to play Arkham City, but like if I hadn't, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at not as just we're getting rid of Batman, but like in a practical sense.
No, I literally
Kevin
just
Conroy
said,
is old.
Yeah, whatever.
Mm.
He's gonna have to hang it up sooner or later.
Replace Kevin Conroy with Jennifer Hale. Ben.
Oh shit.
Their past works are not eliminated. I'm just saying, for the future, you're never hearing this person's voice.
I was going to say, there goes a third of
we're not getting... No. The voice acting part is a little too complicated. I'm not getting that crazy.
Suddenly, Last Generation has no games.
Yeah. Those three.
Yeah.
Troy Baker?
What the Okay.
There you go.
It's hard.
Chris?
What?
Chris?
Shit.
It's really hard.
Shit.
Yeah, like I said,
Make
none
the
of them
right
are bad
here.
voice actors. One of them just has less range than the other two. Troy Baker.
Ridiculous.
I guess Nolan North?
Mm-hmm. Kira?
I have to go with Nolan North.
And then Williams, Nolan North.
I could have gone with Jennifer Hale.
Is it Nolan North? Is your answer Nolan North?
It is.
Okay, so there you go. Anyway, the correct answer is, it's a trick question. All three of you, please go. I want new voice actors. You're good.
No,
thank you for your services. I want a Kiefer Sutherland in more of my games. I want some new woman that's coming along. I want Trisha Helfer.
I want some new.
Jennifer Hale has great range.
Jennifer Hale's fantastic. Don't understand why Trisha Helfer can't be in more things. She was pretty good in Mass Effect 2 and 3. And Trisha Helfer is a fantastic actress. Are you high?
Trisha Helfer needs to be in more things, period.
Yeah.
Anyone complain?
Yeah. I wouldn't complain. I'm just saying, I want new voice actors. My real beef is that I'm tired of hearing the same. I'm tired of Steve Bloom. I don't want Phil. I'm every black guy in everything Lamar. I need to say this twice. Please go, Steve Bloom. Like, find roles, but maybe don't be the leading people. Because I don't want to hear the same voices anymore. I like that Rockstar gets different voice actors.
Steve Bloom hasn't had a lead role in years.
Yeah, but he's in everything, so he definitely needs to go. Like, people joke that Nolan North and Troy Baker are in everything. It's like, no, they're in some things. Steve Bloom is in everything I play.
Nolan North and Troy Baker are just in the biggest games, so everyone plays those games.
I mean, the problem for those two is that
and they're the main character.
We keep ending up with X person's A voice, which is fine. Like, I don't need to hear their B and C voice. But when I hear their A voice one too many times, it's like, okay, come on. Like, you couldn't get anyone else. Like, Kiefer Sutherland and Solid Snake gave that role a little bit more of a presence.
All 8 of his lines?
All 8 of his lines.
He was, oh my god, it's unfair how much better he is than David Hayter.
Yeah. Keith David, I think, is always a good addition to any game.
Keith David as Keith David.
Keith David's awesome.
He is awesome.
Resounding voice.
Martin Sheen. Like, think about if the elusive man was done by Troy Baker. Imagine how shitty that role would be.
Then he would be Kai Lang again.
Huh? Yeah,
you forget the greatness of Kai Lang?
That character sucks too.
That was Troy Baker.
Yeah, but that wasn't Troy Baker's fault.
Yeah, that character just sucks.
That was, bad from the moment he was designed.
From the second he came into this world.
Yeah, that was just a terrible design. The voice actor for Thane is cool. I like that guy. Or no,
the guy who did Garrus needs to be in more things.
Yeah, just new people. Maybe we get Bryan Cranston in a game, huh?
Oh
God, yes.
God.
Yes.
I want what's his face, DiMaggio to get better roles than Marcus Phoenix because his voice is distinct and that helps the Marcus Phoenix character. But what a waste of a good voice actor.
He actually has a lot.
He was pretty good
range.
as he was pretty good as one of the announcers in Mad World.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He has a lot of range. He's actually in more games than you think he is.
I like the chick who voice acts Bayonetta.
He was Waka in FF10, just so you know, if we're talking about range. He's a Jamaican guy.
Yeah.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. Otherwise, wait, someone else had a one's got to go, right?
I do not.
I was just saying that because this is prediction year. Make a prediction of something that's going to happen, either a game that you want to come out, something bad that's going to happen, something like that. You have to make a prediction, and if it comes true, I don't know, something crazy happens for you. Gagan buys you a game on Steam.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I'll go with that. I'll buy you your game.
But it's gotta actually be. It's gotta
be a ballsy pick. I agree. It's gotta be a bit of a pick.
Yeah.
So, Chris, opening round, you're gonna go for it.
Oh fuck! Wait, I'm not ready.
What? You didn't get to think about it after you thought about the question?
Okay. What do I think is going to happen this year? And it has to be kind of ballsy. I was gonna say Assassin's Creed doesn't have a game this year, but we already know that's gonna happen.
It's on the list.
Yeah, that is. Well, those don't count. I mean, like a core Assassin's Creed game. Those aren't core games. I think that.
I mean, does it matter if it's not a core game? It's still a fucking Assassin's Creed game that came out this year.
I know. Still technically an Assassin's Creed coming out this year.
Yeah.
I bet that Final Fantasy 15 comes out and is actually awesome. Is that a bet?
Is that really a ballsy pick?
Can I make that bet?
It's a storied franchise. It should be expected to be good.
It should, but think of where it's coming from.
No, just because I like bashing it. Like, Final Fantasy gets no credit for being good. That is the bare minimum they should be.
Okay.
Well, he said great.
Yeah. Even if it's great, like I don't think that's ballsy. Like
it's a game of the year contender.
In our group.
It makes our top 10. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's too easy for it to make our top 10.
What?
William likes it. Kira likes it. Phil, no matter how much, I'm saying, they're likely to like a Final Fantasy game. Phil's likely to like a Final Fantasy game, and you like enough JRPGs. The staunchest hater of Final Fantasy in this group is me.
You, okay.
And I'm pretty headstrong.
Okay, here we go. But it's in your top 10 for the year.
Personal top 10.
Yeah.
That's a ballsy.
I think that's ballsy.
That's pretty ballsy.
There, that's mine. It's in your top
10. We had to work for it, but okay.
Which means you're going to have to play it.
Yeah, now I have to play it. And be like,
You're like, damn it.
Conflict of interest, though. So how do you quantify the thing? Because the conflict of now, whatever. I'll be. You have faith in me to be honest about it. Okay,
I trust you. Because if it sucks, then I'm fucked. But...
Oh yeah. Damn, top 10 though. That's hard. I like a lot of indie games.
I know.
Kira, what's your pick?
I should have picked something better.
This turns into this game is gonna make Calkins top 10. We like it well. Guys, really.
I'm looking at the list. Sorry. I think Firewatch is going to be better than anyone expects. I think, hopefully. I don't know. I think it looks interesting.
Firewatch does look interesting. I don't know if that's ballsy though.
I don't know.
Because I think
I
think it benefits from we don't know what the fuck that thing is.
Say it'll be better than The Witness.
Okay, you know what's ballsy? I think American Truck Simulator is going to be our game of the year. That's what I think.
That's ballsy. But no, I actually do like the other one. Firewatch is going to be a great game?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Firewatch is going to be a great game. Heard it here first. William.
Can I have a minute to think about it?
Sure, Ben.
Phantom Dust announced by the end of the year.
Ooh, okay, that's good.
Persona 5 will not make Christopher Compton's top 10.
Oh, that's fucking retarded.
That's ballsy. That was one of the things.
That's not gonna happen in a million. That's less likely.
Write that down. Write that down, though. But
that's less
okay,
likely.
Wait. The only reason that's super unlikely is the likelihood of you playing at least 15 games from this year.
Oh, that's true. That is
and
true.
And finishing them is what
say it doesn't make my top 5.
Because that takes away the sting. That takes away the sting.
But I don't even know if I'll play 10 games from this year.
That's fine. All right, fine. Persona 5 will not be one of your 5 favorite games of this year.
Okay, that is pretty gutsy.
Yeah.
I think that's less likely than
Final Fantasy 15
making your top 10.
I agree, but
yeah,
we wanted to make predictions that were a little.
Yeah, these are the ridiculous predictions.
Yeah. So Christopher Compton will not love Persona 5.
Yeah.
It's basically the prediction.
This is basically the prediction.
Yeah.
It gets an 8 out of 10 from me.
Yeah.
All right.
Still really high and probably a top 5 game in 8 out of 10. I'm thinking more like you think it's like a 7.
Ooh, that would be brutal.
Or dare I say a 6.
It's only a good game? Ugh.
Gagan, I've got one.
All right, go for it.
The Witness is not your favorite indie game this year.
On some level, ballsy, but there's way too many indie games in a given year.
Cuphead is coming out this year.
Yeah, Cuphead is coming out.
Okay, The Witness is not in your top 5.
I mean, we have a history, a history of I get excited for games, and that game ends up being good, but then I'm the asshole that goes, yeah, but it's not
all right, fine. The new Hitman makes our collective top 10 at the end of the year.
Episodic game.
Ooh, an episodic game, yeah. I could go with that one.
Wow.
I like that one more because of the early access nature of that game.
Right. It would have to be in spite of.
And me always thinking that Hitman was always good, but really it was the series for bitches who couldn't do Thief and Splinter Cell.
I know. I'm using this.
Yeah, so that's a good. No, that's a better one. That's a better one. It's not that I don't think The Witness is going to be great. It's that there's like 100 indie games in a given year.
I still think you're not going to like The Witness as much as you think you are.
I mean, that's not fair because it's going to have to live up to Braid standards. And I have a very, 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 very high opinion of Braid.
Yes, I know. You still won't shut up about it.
The best indie game ever made.
It's been 8 years, man.
I'm sorry
Let
that
it
they
go.
made the best independent game of all time in 2008.
I don't know. I haven't finished it. I need to do that. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter 5 is hard.
It's worth finishing.
Yeah.
Chapter 5 is hard, Ben.
The whole game is hard.
No,
Okay,
the other ones I actually didn't have that much trouble with. Chapter 5 is hard.
Chapter 5 is hard.
Yeah.
Ben, you got
World
one.
5?
Ben did the Phantom Dust thing.
Did one.
Oh, fuck,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We got
Did
everybody?
you? Oh no, Goggin did Chris.
Yeah. So the predictions were in advance. Chris thinks Final Fantasy 15 will be one of my 10 favorite games of 2016 if it releases in 2016. I believe that if Persona 5 releases in 2016, it will not make Christopher Compton's top 5. Kira believes that Firewatch, a game all of us look at and go, what the fuck is that, is going to be a great game. And the words to describe that game will be great, because I've been an asshole about this every podcast. And William Berger argued that Hitman, the early access version, will basically be in our top 10, our collective top 10 by the end of the year. And Ben Minkoff, strangely, continues to believe that Phantom Dust will release...
Bill Spencer would never lie to me on Twitter.
will release in 2016. For your sake, buddy, I hope it does release. And for all justice sake, I'll just say in advance, this is the year, guys. Beyond Good and Evil 2
Is coming out.
It's gonna happen. It's at least getting announced.
That's
Proper.
the least likely of everything that was just said.
That's the least likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about this. We live in a world where FF15 and The Witness and
The Last
The Last Guardian are going to release.
in the same
Allegedly.
year.
Beyond
And
Good and
in
Evil 2.
theory, Persona 5.
Allegedly.
And then if Ben ends up being right, Phantom Dust.
I don't think Phantom's necessarily coming out.
Yeah.
That
but he-
it'll come back.
Listen, you gotta be a believer now. Now you gotta believe.
No, he didn't say it would come back. He's saying that they're going to confirm that it is still being made.
Oh.
Like, we will get
They're
confirmation.
gonna
that it
officially
exists.
unveil it.
Oh, yeah, officially
Like
unveiled.
at
yeah.
E3, they'll have a trailer or something.
Yeah. Does it have to be E3?
No.
Doesn't have to be E3.
It has to happen at some point in 2016. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Alright, that was episode 75. Pretty sure by now the Game of the Year podcast is also up. So continue listening to that, because I bet you're not done yet. I think it's a good listen. It's a long listen. But please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube.
Drop questions. Wait, no. Drop
Oh,
questions
yeah, leave
for
questions
us.
off in the comment section. Send us emails at endlessbacklog.com. Oh, sorry, podcast at endlessbacklog.com. Yeah,
Jesus.
emails, whatever. Podcast at endlessbacklog.com. What? It's been a while since we had a proper one of these. I just basically ran through the ending of the last podcast we had. It's like, oh, we need to end this. Anyway, oh, that's it. That's about it. Check my buddies at GameUnder.net podcast. Also check out Point Insertion on YouTube. Eroica made our fucking intro music. He's pretty rad. They're doing YouTube videos now with Animal Mother and the other dude that I don't know yet. Anything else?
I think that's it. We're out. Peace.
Sweet.